Good morning, y'all. Today is Saturday, August 5th, and I just have to show you. This is what we have seen for probably at least a week. This smoke is so heavy, it's hard to breathe. We're definitely not making much power from our solar. But even coming out to this garden to do work and harvest food is just difficult because the smoke is so heavy. So I just wanted to show you what I'm up to. My garden seems to be doing pretty well in spite of not much sun, a lot of smoke. I've got some nice watermelons started. Can't wait to see how those go. It's the first time I've ever grown them. My yellow squash is done really well. I've harvested a lot. I like to harvest them when they're only 4 or 5 inches long so they don't get tough and big seeds. I like the small tender ones. And this one, I don't know why that's so light colored and stunted, but it's still producing, so that's good. Oh, I've got a baby winter squash. Those are supposed to be butternut. I'm not sure if it is the right shape, but almost looks like it's striped. We'll have to wait and see. But I do have some more yellow squash down there, the little crookneck, that will be ready in a day or so. I've got some more cucumbers back there in the corner, not a lot, but it's starting to make again. And more blooms on the butternut. My tomatillos are just covered with blooms, and they're starting to make the little lanterns. There's not a lot of them yet, but there's some, and they're still really young, but give it time and that should make a lot of tomatillos. And I have 2 of them. And down here in the middle, these are Brian's hops that he hasn't putting up any kind of trellis yet, so we'll see what happens there. And over here I have my 3 zucchinis, and I've gotten a fair amount off of them too. And like the yellow crookneck, I like to harvest them when they're fairly small. I have one right here that I'll be picking today. I don't know if you could see. It's pretty good size. And one right there. And I think there's one over there too, so I'll be picking those. And over here's my little cantaloupes. And they're so cute. Like, these are the first time I've grown these too, and I think there's 4 of them so far. There, and then there's 2 back there. And this is my other tomatillo. So I'm going to get these things picked, go over to the other garden, and see what I have and get done so I can get out of this crazy smoke. So here's my other garden. That's my kale, cabbage, the parsley that's going to seed, which is attracting a ton of pollinators, which is great, and my Swiss chard. This is my beautiful asparagus that is storing up lots of energy for next year. And I don't know if you can tell, there's a whole lot of seeds forming. These are bigger that can be planted, so I may try planting some next year to get even more. Probably take a couple years before it does much, but they don't cost me anything. And I've got green beans and sugar snap peas back here. My broccoli that mostly I'm just harvesting pieces to give to the chickens. Gives them something green and fresh to eat. And more of the sugar snap and that lone little bean over there. I've got some more Swiss chard coming up and tons of this purslane, which I think I'm going to harvest some. Maybe I'll stir fry it with some of this squash that I have so much of. And I've got in these grow pots, and ignore the weeds, those are outside the fence, can't help it. Got green beans that are all blooming, sugar snap peas, one potato that came up from last year, and more green beans in those grow bags. I harvested my garlic last week and got a beautiful crop of that. I'll try and show you that. Trying to decide what I'm going to do here. We'll just wait and see. These are the beans. I'm sorry, not beans. I think they're all jalapeno peppers, maybe some serrano, that I planted from seed, and I thought they were completely dead because of the freeze we had and the snow in mid-June. But now all of a sudden they're coming up, and we'll see if I get anything from them. And the same with the carrots. They were real slow, and then all of a sudden they're doing well, and I've harvested a few. Really tasty. And my baby bok choy, or pak choy, I think these are getting close. I'm going to be collecting some of those. I love to put those in a soup. I slice up the greens and the stems, and they add so much to a soup. And these are, right here I've got jalapenos. Not a lot, but a few. And then I have a fair amount of serranos. So we'll be picking some of those soon, and Brian will enjoy them. And these are 3 of my tomato plants. Over there, I've got 10 more tomato plants. I lost one. It had a wilt, so I pulled it out. There are a lot of green tomatoes. They haven't, I think I've gotten one red one off so far. They're still blooming. And last week I harvested about 40 huge tomato hornworms. So at least I got that harvest, and the chickens enjoyed those thoroughly. They think that's a lot of fun. And they fight over them. It's so sad. So I'm still watching for more. Once you have those, it doesn't seem like they ever go away. So I come out, I try to every day to check for more and try and keep them under control. That's a raspberry that volunteered. I'm going to need to pull up. And these are all my strawberries. And Brian built me this little kind of a hoop out of PVC to keep the birds out with netting, because we were getting no strawberries even though they were making a ton of them, because the birds would come in and pick them off. The same as they're doing over there with my blackberries and raspberries. So that's the next thing, to try and stop the pillaging. And like you can see, the hornworms definitely got to this. I'm still watching for them and hunting for them, and they're hard to find, but you do your best, and you look for the signs of where they've been. So anyway, I've got quite a few tomatoes. They're just not turning red yet, and I don't know if it's because we've had so much heat, the smoke, or what it is, but hopefully they're going to start to turn soon. And then I've got more green beans in the grow bags against that fence, and then a bunch of raspberries that volunteered over there. So that's my garden. I'm gonna harvest this stuff and get myself inside so that I can breathe again. Oh, and there's my cat. Hi, Cadence. She comes to check on me when I'm out here. This is the one that's feral, that decided she wasn't. She's pretty happy. So that's all for now. Well, I just came in out of the smoke, thankfully, because it was really getting difficult to breathe out there. And this is what I brought in. A good handful of sugar snap peas, a few green beans, 3 zucchini, 1 crookneck, 1 cucumber, and I don't know, I think it's 5 okra. And the sugar snap and green beans, I'm putting in green bags in the refrigerator, and it seems to keep them. I'm trying to get enough either for a meal or to can at a time. The okra I'm just putting into the bag in the freezer, and that will be for something really good when I have enough of it, but I only planted a few in pots this year to test it. I've never had luck with it before, and a friend told me to try that. So I did, and the 6 plants aren't producing a lot, but they're producing steady. So it's going in my freezer, and I'm going to have really good okra meal sometime this summer. My girls are slowing down right now. They're not done for the day. And I think it's because of the heat and the smoke. They're just staying inside. They're not doing much. But this is still early in the day, and we have 4, so I went ahead and picked them up. So that's what I'm getting, and it's not a lot of food yet, and it may not be a lot at once, but I'm getting steady food, and it's fresh food for my family. So I'm thankful. Well, hello, y'all. I came in, I went out in that nasty smoke that's gotten thicker, and pulled vegetables out of the garden and did a little bit out there. And now I'm getting ready for a party tomorrow, because this week is Brian's birthday and a friend's birthday and my sister and brother-in-law's anniversary. So tomorrow we're having a party at their, not really a house yet, house out here in the valley, and hopefully we're not going to have this nasty smoke, but whatever, we'll have a good time. They're building a log cabin, and they've got the walls up, they've got the trusses up, and the sheeting on the roof, so they're making lots of progress. So we're going to have a party over at their property. Brian is smoking a brisket on his pit boss tomorrow, and I'm making a big potato salad. But for the barbecue brisket, I decided we really needed his family's recipe barbecue sauce. And this was his mother's recipe, Mom DeMambro. This was her recipe for barbecue sauce, and we used it years and years. It's a slow cook. You let it go for hours, and it's really, really good. So I'm going to show you the recipe and how to make it. So you start out, I've measured out 2 cups of water. And I'm going to add, this is a fairly small onion that I've diced, and you can fine, coarse, whatever you want. It's going to cook down because this cooks for so long. And the nice thing about this recipe is you just throw it all in and let it cook. The only thing you do is the surprise ingredient that I'll add later. So we added the onion. Let me see if I can move this over so you can see. Well, you're losing me. Okay, so I've added the water, the onion, And I need a measuring cup. I'm going to add 1 cup of vinegar. And this is not precise. In fact, some of the ingredients there is no measurement. Others are the old kind of measurements, and I'll just show you what I do. So we're going to add to that, normally you'd add a large can of tomatoes. I'm going to add 2 of my home canned. These were from last year. And that frees up shelf space for this year because I'm hoping to have a whole lot. I'm going to add this. The recipe calls for half a package of brown sugar. Basically, that was a pound package. I weighed out half a pound. And the beauty of this is you could even use Old Hard. As long as the amount's close, it doesn't really matter, because it's going to cook so long it would melt anyway. Okay, we're going to add a small can of tomato paste. What is this? 6 ounce. And the great thing is, I always make this when I'm making potato salad too, because Brian's favorite thing to do, he puts it on top of the potato salad. Don't ask me why, he likes it. Okay, we're going to add 2 tablespoons, just plain old yellow mustard. And again, there's no exact measurements. Just kinda, sorta. And you can adjust this as it cooks, so there's just no right or wrong way, other than adding the right ingredients. We're going to add garlic powder. And again, there's no amount. I'm just going to add, I don't know, so far maybe a tablespoon, maybe a little more. I'll taste it later and adjust that. We're going to add 2 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. How do you pronounce that word? Whatever it is, that you add 2. Now for the fun. We're going to add hot peppers, and these are pretty hot. We used to use something called Toreador, but we can't find that, at least here in Nevada. But this is the same brand, and these, we've used them before, and it still has that taste. And this is going to, this is a tiny little jar. This is going to be as hot as you want to make it. So we're just going to add some, and again, you can adjust. Let's see. Okay, let's make it 12. And these are little bitty peppers, but they are warm. So that's what we're going to put in there, and we'll see how it comes out later. And you just have the tomatoes in here whole. They will break down as it cooks. You can smash them up, break them if you want, but you really don't have to, because by the time you cook this for an hour, 2 hours or more on a low heat, it's going to break up and just be really nice. And beauty of it is if you cook it longer, the flavor just really melts together. So now I'm going to put this on the stove. I'm going to bring it up to a simmer, and then I'm going to put it on my really low for probably at least 2 hours, maybe longer. We'll see what I'm busy doing. So I'll bring you back later and show you what my surprise ingredient is. All right, so it's been probably close to 2 hours, and it was a little thin, and I think that's because I used my home canned tomatoes. They were probably a little more watery than what I would buy in a can. So I added another can of tomato paste, and now it's just got a nice texture. It's thickened up, and it's looking beautiful. So now what I'm going to do is add that extra ingredient. Trying to do this one-handed, it's not easy. And that is, I'm going to add 2 sticks of butter. Now you can add 1 if you'd like, but we like the 2. I'm gonna put this in here, let these melt, and they're gonna make this barbecue sauce so rich and just really give it good flavor. So now we just let this cook a little bit longer, and then I'm gonna let it cool off. I'm considering canning some of this, but if I do, I'll probably leave out the butter and just cook it down and pressure can it without the butter, and then the butter can be added when it's time to use it. But for now, I have made Brian very happy. Every time he walks in the house, he says, "Oh, thank you, this smells so good. I can't believe you're doing this for me." So brownie points, and he's very happy, and this is for his birthday, so I'm hoping he really enjoys it with the barbecue and especially with the potato salad. So this is for you, Brian. We had a wonderful time at the party, celebrating Brian's and a friend's birthday and my sister's anniversary. It was a beautiful afternoon, although we had rain shower and there was lightning that caused a few fires around the area, but fortunately it looks like most of them were controlled. So thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. Have a wonderful day.